I'd like to call the March school board meeting for March 14th, 2023 to order. Mr. Dees will do our prayer and Mr. Tower will help us with the pledge. If everyone would stand, please.
Kind of Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity to come and join together and do your work, do your deeds. Make us mindful of all the many blessings that you bestow upon us each day. Be with those who are ill, be their caretakers, be with those of our staff that are ill, and be with their staff that have illness in their families and have lost loved ones recently. Thank you for keeping our schools safe to this point. We ask you to put that hedge of protection around us and keep us all safe. Watch over and God direct us in this meeting that we do your will. Amen.
Will you join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, item number 4, approve the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
All right, we have Mr. Tyre made the motion and Ms. Nelson seconded. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, the agenda is approved. Okay, we have public comment number 1. I think it's Ms. Tricia Strickland. Are you here? All right. Come on up. Before you start, there's something I always have to read.
Oh, yes, sir.
Okay. The Ware County Board of Education welcomes and encourages citizens to be involved and attend its meetings. As a part of its general operating procedure, the board offers an opportunity for Ware County residents, businesses, organizations, or school system employees to address the board at its regular monthly meeting. The public comment period is designed to gain input from the public pursuant to the guidelines outlined in policy BCBI and not for the immediate response by the board to the public comment presented. To be placed on the agenda, individuals who request to appear before the board must notify the superintendent's office in writing by completing the public participation request form and submit it at least 24 hours prior to the regular monthly meeting of the board. The request must state clearly the topic or issue to be addressed. Each person whose name is placed on the agenda will be given 5 minutes to make comments. Where several citizens wish to address the same topic or issue, the group should designate a spokesman. The board will not permit anyone to become personally abusive of individual board members or board employees. The board will take comments and questions under advisement until there has been time enough for the superintendent to look into the matter. Okay?
Hi.
All right.
Good evening, y'all. Our topic is on school behavior. My name is Tricia Strickland, and I am a 4th grade teacher at William Heights. As you know, I've come this evening to talk about behavior in our schools. As teachers, we have many titles: wife, mom, daughter, sister, grandmother, nurse, and yes, even sometimes police. You see, I have a family to go home to. My children are now grown adults, but for years they would hear me venting and my frustrations. Now my husband has to listen. As teachers, we pour so much of our lives into our students that at the end of the day, we're all used up. We're on the front lines each day, 6.5 hours, 5 days a week. Many of us work past those hours. I know as elementary teachers we do. I'm coming to the close of my 26th year of teaching, and as of March 6th, I turned in my resignation to Dr. Epps. When Dr. Epps asked me for the reason why I was resigning, I told him that behavior in the classroom was on the top of my list. I have seen a lot in 26 years, but this year has been the worst. I come tonight to not only be a voice for my elementary colleagues, but also to be a voice for the 24 other students and their parents in my classroom. I've always been reminded that whatever decision I make in my classroom, it should be about the students. It is unfair for my 24 students to have to be distracted day in and day out by noises, throwing pencils, stealing objects during a lesson, spitting spitballs, blurting out, getting up and down during a lesson for 130 days when they come to class by these two particular students and their actions. It's not because of poor class management, and I know our admin is only allowed to do so much. These two students have a behavior plan and have received their allotted number of referrals and should be at the alternative school. When I asked why they haven't been sent, I was told that it is full. There are currently 150 middle and high school students at the alternative school, and many of those students at times did not show up for their spot. So what consequences do they have for not being there? If they're not showing up to serve out their time, is it educational neglect by their parent? They are taking up spots and it seems like nothing's being done about it. Meanwhile, there are 8 students at William Heights that need to be placed at the alternative school. Some are kindergarten and first graders. So right now, the 2 students in my class, when they're written up, get 2 or 3 days OSS and then 3 or 4 days in our reflection room. This, in my opinion, is a student's dream situation. For the most part, those students want to be out of the classroom. At the elementary level, most students don't even know what reflect means. It's also not fair to the teacher in that reflection room because she has other jobs to fulfill. And then someone else must be pulled from their job to help watch them. Something must be done with students who are continuously written up for bad behavior. If they have a behavior plan, there should be a consent that parents must sign for their child to receive mental health services. At this point, this should not be a choice for parents. Many of these students are low-income students, and their parents are not going to drive them to Unison for services. I know we have counselors from Unison coming to our schools, but if these students have reached this point in their behavior plan, more extensive counseling should be involved. Also, having an ISS room in our elementary schools would also help. In these rooms, students should have cubicles to do their work, eat their lunch, and not get to socialize with others. I know the STAR program has probably been brought up before, and it was kind of put down, supposedly because it was called too aggressive. Well, too aggressive is when a child brings a knife to my classroom, scares a teacher, staring her down, locking the doors, and not letting her use her phone. Too aggressive when students switch their mood like a light switch, when asked not to sleep and to sit up and listen and want to buck up at us because we want them to listen and learn. This and many more things occur in our classrooms, and we are supposed to teach and get ready for milestones while all this is occurring. Tough love never hurt anyone. Students should not want to go to reflection room, ISS room, or alternative school. The students who are suffering from all this are the students who want to learn. Their educational time is being overrun by bad behavior. It is also wearing and tearing down your teachers' physical as well as mental health. You will continue to lose teachers. Right now, there are at least 43 teaching positions available on our website. If something is not done about behavior in our schools, it's not a matter of if, but when something tragic in our schools will occur. Something must be done to help students with their behavior and mental health. They must know their behavior has consequences. The majority of students know that nothing is going to happen to them when they get in trouble. This mindset must change. It's going to take some tough love and a whole lot of praying. As for teachers, we want to feel that we're appreciated and backed up all the way from the top. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight and to work for such a wonderful county. I wish only the best for our students and staff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Strickland.
Okay, next we have Dr. Earl Martin. Mr. Martin, if you'll come up.
Yes, my name is Dr. Earl Martin. I'm a family physician who's been in this community for 30 to 40 years. And I am coming up here to reiterate something that I mentioned a few months ago, I think 1 or 2 months ago, about the immunizations of children for COVID. Ta-da, the CDC has spoken, and what I talked about a few months ago has arrived. You may all not know this, but the CDC has now placed COVID-19 on the childhood immunization schedule, which means that in many places, the decision about what immunizations children receive to go to school is actually determined by you all who are sitting there. And whether you decide whether to follow the CDC guidelines or not, I'm here to discuss a contrary position. It is my position that what the CDC is wrong, morally, medically, and that there are various reasons for that. I think as we've looked at what's gone on in the last few years, things have changed. This is not the same situation that we didn't know about in 2020. There's much has changed. My own issues with the official CDC and FDA positions concerning the mRNA vaccines, which are really not vaccines in the same sense that traditional vaccines have been defined, begins with how they actually function. What happens is that the manufactured mRNA causes the body to produce a foreign protein, also called the spike protein, to which the body then has an immune response, producing antibodies and also a cellular immunity. This is a totally different process than traditional vaccines such as polio or tetanus, which inject either the inactivated virus or toxin to which the body then responds. Traditional vaccines had a set amount of protein or virus given, and these vaccines cause the body to produce what the body responds to. And no one is sure how long this manufacturing of the spike protein lasts. That's the new ones. Originally, it was said that it lasts only a few hours to a day, but now the mRNA has been found in some people to be present up to 30 days later, which means that it's potentially producing spike protein up to 30 days, and has even been found in breast milk. Also, as you may have observed, the effectiveness of the mRNA vaccines has been a moving target. Originally, they were said to be 95% effective, but over the months and years, that number has started to fall and is now recognized that they do not prevent either catching the disease nor preventing its transmission. Again, that is not within the traditional definition of vaccine, and the FDA, CDC conveniently changed the definition of vaccine so as to have the new injections fall into that category of intervention. Perhaps you're familiar with the Ware's data, where the government encourages people, both physicians and patients, report adverse reactions to vaccines. In the past, the swine flu vaccine program in 1976 was stopped after 53 deaths, but the Ware systems received reports of 6,490 deaths associated with COVID vaccines just within the first 8 months of the vaccine programs. In the past, whenever a new medical drug or injection is introduced and negative side effects start occurring, it is up to the users of that intervention to prove it was not that was causing the negative side effects. But in this case, death, and for some reason, that logic was reversed for the mRNA vaccines, and it was up to the reporters of adverse events to prove that they were the cause. Surely you can see the difference in that approach. These adverse reactions also were not occurring in some faraway place. I personally know the father of one of my nurse practitioners that I work with who suffered a massive pulmonary embolism shortly after getting a COVID shot. A colleague in the neighboring county whom I have known and respected for years suffered 2 strokes shortly after getting the vaccine, and for a period of time was not sure whether he would recover so he could return to the practice of medicine. A patient in my old practice shortly after getting the vaccine developed a liver failure without any apparent usual reason for that, and ended up having to get a liver transplant within like 6 months after getting a vaccine. I recently treated a woman who was getting a vaccine, shortly after getting a vaccine, developed increasing shortness of breath and ended up having to have cardiac surgery because of a failed heart valve, which could very well have been caused by a focal area of myocarditis, which is a known and accepted complication of the vaccine. And finally, just within the past few weeks, a patient of mine told my wife of his fiance who had lost a leg from blood clots after getting a vaccine. Here I am, a family doctor in the sticks of Southeast Georgia, and hearing of these kinds of consequential complications. So this is going to be your decision about following the CDC guidelines. But these are not safe drugs. These are not effective drugs, and especially for small children. And I think that you need to consider your decision very seriously. Now, just as an aside point, this is a completely different topic, and I apologize. Masks, forget it. Masks do not work. N95 masks do not work. The latest data out of the Cochrane, which most people have suggested to us within the last month, masks do not work, and especially do not work for children. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Doctor.
you, Doc.
Thank you, Doctor. Okay, the superintendent we will discuss it, and he will get back with y'all. Thank you both for bringing this to our attention.
One last thing. This is 99 pages of, they're not a single report. This is 99 pages of studies that are adverse reactions to the vaccine. And I wanted to give this to you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Okay, we go to item number 7, presentations. Superintendent, Golden Achievement.
Ms. Lonnie Hines, principal at Memorial Drive. She'll come up and present the March Golden Achievement Award winners.
With pleasure. Good evening.
Good evening.
It is with great pleasure that Memorial Drive Elementary School recognizes Miss Renee Cruz as our certified Golden Achievement recipient for the 22-23 school year. Mrs. Cruz wears many hats at our school. She is a phenomenal special education teacher, academic quiz bowl advisor, National Elementary Honor Society advisor, and SPED mentor. She also leads co-leads our weekly staff devotion. However, it is not the many titles that Miss Cruz makes her stand out. It is her passion that she has for teaching and the meaningful relationships that she creates with her students to help motivate and encourage them to do their very best. She truly gets to know her students and help them in any possible way. She is a quiet leader, a behind-the-scenes influencer who is often the glue that keeps the grade level teams together. She is dependable and the best cheerleader for our students. Thank you, Ms. Cruz, and we appreciate all you do for our students, staff, and parents. And next we have our Golden Achievement for our classified staff, Miss Casey Seals. Memorial Drive Elementary School is proud to recognize Miss Casey Seals as our classified Golden Achievement recipient. Miss Seals has been a paraprofessional with us for 7 years, and throughout that time she has worked in self-contained and all grade levels to support instruction. No matter where she is, the teachers are confident in her support, leading small groups, and sometimes taking charge of the class when in need. Mrs. Seals is dependable, cares for students, and extremely hardworking. She is always willing to do whatever it takes to make the school day run smoothly, and as you know, that can look different each and every day. Ms. Seals does what needs to be done and is always willing to do it with a smile. Thank you, Ms. Seals.
All right, we next, item 7B, board member appreciation.
All right, this week, some of you, I hope all of you are aware, it's Board Appreciation Week. Had some nice gifts from the schools.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Thank all of y'all.
Great.
But I'm appreciative of the board as well because of the exemplary board status every year that go train and really get up to date on the policies and the things they have to do to be an effective board. So just from the district, we appreciate all of you board members. And when I call your name, please come up and get your certificate. Also, Mr. Tyron and Mr. Gaines are modeling the office staff appreciation shirts. So they're green and gold.
They are.
Right
Somebody
colors.
knows the right color.
That's right. Mrs. Karen Etheridge.
Can I just get it from here? Thank you kindly, sir.
Everybody's coming up. Mr. Rusty Gaines. Thank you, sir. Mrs. Brandy Waters. Mr. Buster Tire.
Thank you, sir.
Mrs. Tony Nelson. Mr. Denton Dial. Back to his phone. Mr. Barry Dix. Give our board members a hand.
All right, item number 8, approve report items, Mr. Superintendent.
Yes, I recommend for approval payroll and disbursements totaling $5,698,670.02 as of February 28th, 2023. The financial report was discussed last night. Enrollment report reflects 5,997 students as of March 6th. Last year's number was 6,024. Calendar dates coming up. Yesterday was Professional Learning Day, no school for students. Today, the fourth 9 weeks begins. Tomorrow, report cards will be issued, and then spring break is the first week of April 3rd through 7th, and April 19th is when progress reports will be issued. So,
You've heard the superintendent's report. Do I have a motion to approve it?
So moved.
Second.
We have Ms. Etheridge made the motion, Mr. Gaines seconded. Is there any discussion? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay, item number 8 passes. Number 9, approve minutes of the meetings. You've had a chance to look at those. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting? I think it was February work session, February regular meeting, and a call meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Mr. Tyre made the motion, Ms. Waters seconded. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, item 9 passes. All right, Mr. Superintendent.
yes, sir. I recommend for approval the SPOS performance audit for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022. The audit results concluded that the Ware County School District SPOS program is operating in compliance with all applicable laws and regulations. The referendum approved by the county citizens and industry best practices.
Okay. You heard the recommendation of superintendent. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, Ms. Nelson, motion, Mr. Gaines, second. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, Ms. Superintendent, number 11.
Yes, I recommend for approval the annual financial audit report for fiscal year 2022.
All right, you heard the recommendation of superintendent. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have Ms. Waters making the motion and Mr. Dees seconding. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Item number 11 passes. Number 12, Mr. Superintendent.
Yes, I recommend for approval the resolution for the 5-year local facilities plan as recommended by the survey team and myself.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation from the superintendent. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have Mr. Tyre motion and Mr. Dees seconded. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, item 12 passes. Number 13.
Yes, recommend for approval the memorandum of understanding with ABM Building Solutions to conduct a no-cost preliminary assessment of Ware County schools, facilities, and infrastructure, which will determine the feasibility of a financial solution where cost savings can be leveraged to offset the costs associated with desired and/or necessary infrastructure upgrades. This was tentatively approved on February 15th.
All right, you heard the recommendation from superintendent. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We had Mr. Dees made the motion, Ms. Waters second. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Item number 13 is passed. Superintendent, number 14.
Yes, sir. Recommend for approval the request for Ware County High School to continue to partner with this in the STEM internship program with the Waycross Ware County Chamber of Commerce for the summer of 2023. This program has been very successful in the past and has afforded many students valuable internship opportunities.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation, superintendent. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have Ms. Nelson, motion second, Mr. Gaines. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Item number 14 passes. Number 15.
Yes, recommend for approval the appointment of a delegate and alternate delegate for the Georgia School Board Association.
Okay, I think last night we discussed that the ones from last year did a great job and they've agreed with twisted arm to do it again. That was Mr. Dees. I started to say Gaines, Mr. Dees
I think it was.
and Mr. Tyre.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Dees will be our delegate and Mr. Tyre will be our alternate.
I make a motion, we vote that in just to make sure they don't back out.
All right, all right. Have a
I
motion.
second
Do we
it.
have a second?
You second it.
All right.
And
Have a
thank
mo-
you, gentlemen, so much.
Yes, we appreciate that. Mr. Gaines made the motion. Ms. Etheridge made the second. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same or nay. Hear no nays. That item is passed, number 15, and we do appreciate them. This is for our summer conference that we have in Savannah. Our superintendent,
Yes, recommend for approval of the Georgia School Board Association's legislative positions.
okay, we discussed this last night. But had a pretty long discussion about it. But anyway, do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Etheridge made the motion. Mr. Gaines did the second. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, item number 16 is passed. Superintendent?
Yes, recommend for approval to review the results of the Georgia School Board's governance assessment completed by the governance team. Sorry.
All right, and the governance team is all of us sitting in this semicircle, if I remember my math correctly. All right, you've heard the recommendation of superintendent. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, Mr. Tyre has made the motion. Mr. Dees seconded. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, item 17 is passed. Number 18, Mr. Superintendent.
Yes, recommend for approval the request from the Special Projects Director to purchase Checkmate Pro for the 23-24 school year in the amount of $4,750 using SPOS funds. Checkmate Pro is an add-on product for Infinite Campus that will eliminate the need for rack and increase each school's front office productivity by streamlining the check-in, check-out for students, tracking visitors, printing hall passes, and checking the Georgia Sex Offender Registry.
All right, you've heard the recommendation from the superintendent. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Ms. Nelson and second by Mr. Gaines. Any discussion?
Okay, now, I forgot to ask this, will there be any specialized training associated with this, or will they be, the staff, when this is installed, will they have to be trained in this? So that will be included in the,
Yes, sir, that is part of the cost.
okay.
Okay. Any more discussion? All right. There being no more discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, item 18 is passed. Number 19, Mr. Superintendent.
Yes, recommend for approval, JCI Contractors as the construction manager for the new Waycross Middle School.
All right, you've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second it.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Tyre, second by Ms. Etheridge. Any discussion?
The memo was sent to Ms. Sherry. Of course, Ms. Sherry is with her daughter, so if y'all would like to see that memo from Mr. Benchoff, that's why the attachment's not there. So he sent it last night after the meeting.
Okay.
Miss-
Just when she gets it.
Yes,
send it
sir.
to us.
So they'll be in, they're from Moultrie, right?
Yes, sir. they're
Yeah,
from-
from
yes, sir.
Moultrie. we-
And we've had the opportunity to observe or to look at some of their work when we
Right.
go to these conferences and all. It's very impressive.
Very impressive,
Yeah.
yes. They're also doing Clinch County
They are.
K through 12 school, isn't it?
Yes.
All right. Do we, any more discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. 19 passes. All right, number 20.
Just recommend for approval, the request from the athletic director to resurface the gym floor at Ware County High School in an amount not to exceed $37,500. Funding for this project will come from SPOS 5.
All right, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Mr. Gaines made the motion. Ms. Tony Nelson made the second. Any discussion?
How old is the floor on there now?
Since 2007?
Since
wasn't it?
2007.
I think he said 2007. So it's-
It's well outlived its,
Yeah.
Yeah, that Green Bay G's on there. We didn't get that WC on there.
It needs to be done about every 5 years.
Yeah.
4 to 5 years to maintain.
It's been 16.
almost as old as I am, so. it's good. All right, there being no more discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Number 20 is approved. Superintendent, if you want to do 21, A through K.
Yes, sir. Recommend for approval, the field trip request and sub-items A through K as presented.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of superintendent. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Tyre, a second by Ms. Waters. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Okay, item number 21 is approved. Superintendent, number 22.
Yes, recommend for approval, the fundraisers at Center, Wacona, Ware Middle, and Ware County High School.
All right, you've heard the recommendation, superintendent. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second it.
All right, Mr. Gaines made the motion. Ms. Nelson seconded. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. All right, item 22 is approved. Number 23, Mr. Superintendent.
Yes, recommend for approval, the facility use request for the use of Ware Middle's track on April 4th, 2023, April 11th, April 18th, 2023 for the Georgia Forestry Commission's WCT annual testing with a waiver of fees. The request was made by Tommy Banks.
Okay. You've heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Made the motion, Mr. Dees made the motion, Mr. Gaines second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Item number 23 is approved. Item number 24, executive session. Does anyone need one? Okay. Not, we'll skip that and go to item number 25. I guess I'll take this. Which is to approve the superintendent's evaluation. We went over that last night. I need a motion for its approval.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Ms. Etheridge made the motion. Mr. Gaines did the second. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Item number 25 is approved. Superintendent?
Let's see, 26. Yes, so recommend for approval, the various job descriptions for the new centralized registration.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation, superintendent. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, Mr. Tyre made the motion, Mr. Gaines second. Any discussion?
Well,
just-
what's the timeline on that? How are we coming?
Well, we've got it's moving pretty quickly. Y'all seen how we've got the credit union started the construction on it. So when you walk out tonight, you can see it. But then they've, Ms. Coker, Ms. Todd, Ms. Dixon, Ms. Germano, Ms. Durance, anybody else? Dr. Benefield, they're all down at the computer lab. That's why we could go to computer lab. They're down there. I've nicknamed it the hen house. So,
Okay, so we're moving on.
so anyway, and there's a little sign on the door. They did.
They
Yeah. But anyway, yes, our goal is a bold goal, I said, was spring break, but we're still gonna have to move some things around. That's gonna be very bold, but hopefully by the summer, we want everybody coming up here to register.
Okay.
So that will certainly be,
Something we've
Yeah,
wanted
we'll-
for years, and then COVID hit. So
That's
it's
right.
just,
So anyway,
all right.
Yeah.
Any more discussion? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Item number 26 is approved. Number 27,
yes, I recommend for approval, the request from the Director of Special Ed for a new special education teacher at Waresboro. The funding source is QBE.
okay, you've heard the recommendation of superintendent. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
second.
All right, Ms. Etheridge made the motion, Mr. Dees second. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Item number 27 is approved. Mr. Superintendent?
Yes, sir. Recommend for approval, the request from the high school principal for an additional 49% advanced placement teacher at Ware County High School. The additional teacher will help monitor students' progress, provide personalized instruction, and better prepare the students for taking the AP assessments.
Okay, heard the recommendation from the superintendent. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second? Do I have a
Second.
All right, I have a motion from Ms. Waters, a second from Mr. Gaines. Any discussion on that? If
Is
not,
that
all
gonna-
of,
is that gonna be for the rest of this year, Mr. Smith, or next year?
That's for next year.
Next year.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't say, okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's for, they should have said for the 23-24 school year.
okay.
That's fine.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Item number 28 is approved. Mr. Superintendent?
Yes, to recommend for approval, the request from the athletic director to add an additional certified assistant coach position for girls volleyball team. The numbers in the sport have increased to the point that we need another person to coach, assist with supervision, et cetera, effectively.
And this will be for
Next year, that's also for the 23-24 school year.
All right. You've heard the recommendation, superintendent. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, Mr. Gaines made the motion. Mr. Dees seconded. Any discussion? There being no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Item number 29 is approved. Superintendent, number 30, A, B, C, and D.
Yes, sir. Recommend for approval, the personnel report in sub items A through D as presented.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation of the superintendent. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Tyre, a second by Ms. Nelson. Any discussion?
There is a lay aside with a couple there that was added on this afternoon, so just make sure that you see those. One is for a transfer at Waresboro.
It was a resignation.
It was our resignation on there. I thought it was just a transfer, and then the other was a,
There's one resignation.
One resignation.
oh, it was, okay, I got you. And then a speech language pathologist.
Okay.
So that was the additions for the
All
personnel
right.
report.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Item number 30 is approved. Number 31, Mr. Superintendent.
Yes, I recommend for approval, the administrators, that would be the directors and principals for the 23-24 school year.
Heard the recommendation, superintendent. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Tyre, a second by Ms. Waters. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Item number 31 is approved. All right, item number 32, other. Mr. Gaines, do you have anything?
Well, the only thing I'd like to say is, I mentioned last night, the former coach and teacher in the Ware County Schools, Mr. Lee Hamner, has been diagnosed with a serious illness, and we need to keep him in our thoughts and prayers, him and his family. Lee was here for quite a while. He was quite a character, but
Yes, he was.
he was a good person down at heart. So we're sorry to hear this, and wish him all the best.
All right, Mr. Dees.
I'd like to congratulate the 4-H and FFA kids in the hog show yesterday for the parental support and all those buyers that came out to purchase those bids. Everything went extremely well. That facility has been being put to use on a very regular basis, and it's returning dividends daily.
I was talking to Dr. Barber earlier, and I think a year ago or 2 years ago, 14, now we had 32, almost doubled. Well, it did double. It did double.
A little more.
A little more than doubled. I just, me
If
and
you've
math
seen all
on.
those kids after the show last night and that was working to clean up, I mean, they were all in.
They had to say goodbye as well, didn't they?
We won't go there.
There, that's right. All right, Ms. Waters.
No, I don't have anything. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Nelson.
I want to thank all of the teachers, principal. I want to thank the whole Ware County school system for our appreciation, for us
Yes.
being on this board. Thank you so much. We felt your love this year, and we thank you, and just grateful.
Yes, we are. Ms. Etheridge.
I'd like to congratulate Mr. Joe Meadows for the newsletter that he has put out for his bus barn.
Okay.
I happened to have been there when the first edition came off the press.
Okay, that's good, good. Mr. Tyre.
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate our weightlifting team for being
That's right.
state champions. So that's really good.
Yes. All right, Mr. Superintendent, do you have anything else? Okay, I have, this is a part that Mr. Gaines, the last 2 years, is part that he doesn't necessarily like to do, but it's showing respect and showing our condolences for our school staff, and their families. The Ware County School Systems express sympathy to the following: Tanya Stewart, bookkeeper at Ware County High School; Joe Meadows, director of transportation; and Taylor Meadows, teacher at Ware Middle, in the loss of their mother, mother-in-law, grandmother, Sadie Joyce Thomas Revels. Lori Griffiths, former SIS coordinator for Ware County Schools, and Rebecca Griffiths, ESOL teacher at Ruskin, in the loss of Lori's father and Rebecca's grandfather by marriage, Charles Elton Dubose. Kelly Saxon, media specialist at Ware County High School, and Christine Henderson, teacher at Ware Middle, in the loss of their brother-in-law and uncle, Brian Keith Saxon. The family and friends of Debbie Lance Logan, who retired from Harrell Center after 30 years of service. Donna Solomon, principal at Ruskin, and her husband, Rudy, and the loss of Rudy's mother, Valencia Thomas Solomon, and Rudy's uncle, Dr. Norman Thomas Sr. The senior, Miss Solomon, is also the grandmother of Jemiah Stevenson and Keisha Garner, parapros at Wakeona. Jenny Altman, teacher at Ware Middle, and the loss of her father. Donna Russell, parapro at Williams Heights Elementary, and Cynthia Eddings, special education parapro at Memorial Drive, and the loss of their mother-in-law, aunt, Miss Christine Russell. The family and friends of Martha Nell Corson, a former employee of the Ware County School System. Nick and Macy Evans, teachers at Ware County High School, and the loss of Nick's grandfather, Luther Talmadge Evans Sr. Penny Deems, teacher at Wakeona, and retired staff member Jane Logue, in the loss of their father, Horace Thompson. Heather Thomas, teacher at Wasboro, and the loss of her aunt, Reba Rush. Dr. Shawana Johnson, principal at Daffodil Pre-K, and the loss of her aunt, May Ethel Staten Wilson. And Gina Ogle, special education secretary at Ware County High, and the loss of her father-in-law, Lonnie Newham. As I said before, we offer our sympathy to all of these. And we just pray for their family to get that peace that you can only get from one place there. Anything else? If not, I declare this meeting Adjourned.
Don't forget.
Don't forget to